All right, Chelsea fans, welcome back to another London is Blue podcast clip. On this one, this is our West Brom match review. So we had Nizaar Kinsella from Goal join us. This is just one of the clips we have from that episode. If you want to listen to the full thing, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get it. Links are in the description, so check it out now. But until next time, Chelsea fans, enjoy this video and make sure to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Frank maybe isn't always setting up the players to get the most out of them. Thiago played mostly played on the opposite side at PSG. And so now we've got a little bit of flip of position there in the back two. Christensen, I guess maybe you're trying to put Christensen closer to, I don't know. Like, it just didn't make a lot of sense. And then you have a formation that, doesn't give Timo the opportunity to, run at pace at like a one-on-one situation with a possible defender. You had Mason on a wing, and, you see what Callum does in this game. And so it's just a lot of questions about, is it experimentation? Is it he sees something that works well and then tries to just repeat it, which we saw last season with maybe when you went with a 3-5-2 and, oh, hey, it worked really well. Like, I'm going to run with it again. And then it didn't work the next game. It was like the comedy of errors that it just was work one game, didn't work the next game, worked the next game, didn't work the game after that. And so I guess the question that we'll kind of have to answer, or is still maybe left unanswered, is like, how does Frank find what he wants this team to actually do? Because he seems like he's allowing them to inform what he's going to do during the match. And I guess you would think, Naz, that would happen on the training pitch. And it seems like there's a lot of, building the plane while flying it at the moment. And it's not predicating like really great results.
Yeah, he's basically a reactive manager. So he'll set up his team, but then he's finding out problems during the game, which is not really what you want. As a big team, you want to go into these games, control it, pass the ball around, show off your technical ability, have a game plan to stop counterattacks, stop turnovers. I mean, Frank Lampard knew what the danger was, but he couldn't stop it, which was a bit of a surprise, really. He knew that it was the break. He spoke about it. I could hear him because, there's no fans in the stadium. You can hear him shouting, watch the turnovers, guys, watch the turnovers. And they're still happening. So you're like, and a lot of what we just spoke about really is why that was a problem. And the other problem that you can kind of hear in the stadium is the lack of, vocal leaders on the pitch. So I think that's why Azpilicueta came on for Alonso, partly. I mean, Alonso was on yellow card, playing terribly, but also you just put a leader on the pitch as well. And somebody you can talk to Thiago. I mean, there's a great clip of those two talking as soon as Azpilicueta comes on. He goes to Thiago and has a word. And he's like, I go back to a point that was said like earlier in the past, it might be West Brom, but it's also the Premier League, and it's a different kind of game. You get stunned. You don't get stunned in France, and there's question marks for these guys. Even in Germany, the upsets aren't quite as regular as they are here. So, it was a case of getting on that leader who knows the league and could talk these guys through the match a little bit as well. So that was part of the formula to fix it, but in the end, it was just, there was that 4-3-3 period, and then there was the 3-5-2 period, which for me isn't really tactics. It's really just, let's just put on all the attacking guys, see what they could do. Chelsea are so good that they could do something in the end.
So I'm probably 1.5 competitive matches away of Lampard making poor personnel decisions in the back line to having some serious questions. I just was shocked Christensen came back in like this. If Alonso goes back in again,
awfully specific.
What?
Yeah, I think you'd like to be.
So 1.5 is awfully specific.
Well, because it's like you have this cup game coming up, right? So like I'm not really gonna credit that, but it's like once we get in like a couple more Premier League matches, to me, then it's like, we're really close to being like, okay, now we have to ask some questions, because he can do well, to Naz's point, of correcting them in a match. But why are we even in that situation from the beginning? We should be ahead of those situations going into the 60th minute for his subs, his 70th minute subs, not chasing a match. That's why I said, but yeah, 1.5 is specific. It's like those betting odds.
I think my biggest fear going through this season is that, this doesn't really get solved, and that, the way the sort of like Jurgen Klopp built his team at Liverpool, he kind of had a vision in mind, and they didn't have to be the biggest names that he'd sign, but they fit in that system. And my biggest problem is, my biggest fear is that they're all great players. I have absolutely no doubts that Havertz is a great player. Werner's a great player. He's not scored yet for Chelsea, but I still, I know he's an amazing player. It's simple. You can just see it. And then, Hakim Ziyech's a brilliant player. Pulisic's a brilliant player. But my problem is, are they ever going to fit together? And there is a potential that they never do, and they never do. And if they don't click, if they never click, the back line's an even bigger problem. We're talking about the front line's a little bit of a problem, but the back line is a real problem. If they never click, then Chelsea will never really achieve at the level they need to achieve to satisfy the desires of the fans to win trophies.
Well, you say fans, but we all know you mean Roman.
Roman's the biggest fan there is.
Yeah,
the most important fan.
Look, little Opta Joe cheeky stat here just says 20. Chelsea have failed to keep a clean sheet in 20 of their 21 Premier League away games under Frank Lampard. Laps. Look, at this point, I don't think any of us are really predicting clean sheets at this point. And if we are, it's because we're just being silly. So that's just kind of the situation where it stands.